I was wrong about recovery. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to check out some of my free resources below. In today's video, I'm going to tell you some things that I didn't expect about my recovery. When I was in the middle of my eating disorder journey, if you want to call it that, I had all of these misconceptions about what it would take to recover, what recovery would be like, what would life be like afterwards. I really had no idea. It had been so long since I had eaten like a normal person that I didn't know what it was like to just eat regularly. I thought the process was going to be really long. I thought it was going to be really arduous. I thought it was going to require, months and years of rehab, and I thought I would have to eat this perfect diet. None of that was true. If you're trying to recover or you're just starting your recovery, then here are some misconceptions that I had about recovery, and if you have these same misconceptions, understand they're not true. The first thing is I thought recovery would happen overnight. I have talked about this in previous videos. Recovery does not happen overnight. You cannot change everything in one night. You cannot become this new creature overnight. That's not how we work. That's what I call the lottery approach, is when you buy a lottery ticket and you think it's going to be the winning ticket and it's not. That's what the overnight transformation is. You are betting that you can make all these changes in one day. Don't make that bet. The truth is, it's like learning how to walk again. You have to fall down, get back up. Fall down, get back up. It's like learning any skill for that matter. You have to try again, and you have to get feedback. Don't think that you can live with an ED and then one day decide to change and everything is going to be different. It doesn't work that way. The second thing is I thought I had to restrict or starve myself. I thought one day I could be this binge restrict cycle, and then the next day I could just go full on restrict. Do not overestimate how much willpower or how much self-control that you have. Willpower and self-control, you can build that over time. You cannot build that in one day. It's like building a house. You don't build a house in one day. Unless you live in one of those tiny homes. But I don't live in a tiny home, and neither do you. What I'm saying is, it takes time to build a skill. Self-control and willpower are skills, and you need to make those a daily practice. But don't think that you can circle a day on the calendar and then expect to have all this willpower that you've been missing all this time. My refrigerator is very empty. Empty. I don't keep anything in my refrigerator because I'm so afraid of eating it. So I don't keep anything in here. I keep my cabinets empty, my pantry's empty, my fridge empty. Nothing is in my freezer because if I'll eat it, I'll have it. So I have to keep everything out of the home. It's super inconvenient. I just go to the store once a day and I only buy exactly what I need. All right, so this is my lunch for today. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 baby carrots. Have to be really careful, and this is part of my recovery. I can't have anything that tastes good, nothing with a lot of calories. I just have to have baby carrots, and yeah, it's gonna be a tough, long road. The third thing, I thought I had to walk on eggshells. I thought I had to be really careful, really cautious. Make sure I didn't eat any of the wrong foods or the bad foods. I had this whole blacklist of foods. It included almost everything. I thought that if I had one bite, then I was gonna eat 100 bites. If I ate a little bit, then I would eat everything. I thought my recovery was really fragile. And in the early days, it is kind of fragile. The behavior can re-emerge in those early days. So you do need to be a little cautious, but you don't need to be super cautious. You shouldn't be canceling social events. You shouldn't be avoiding the kitchen at the office. Does anybody work in an office anymore? Well, you get my point. You don't have to be careful and on guard everywhere you go. What about having those fear foods or those forbidden foods? I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Okay, number 4, I had to take it one day at a time and I had to count all the days. This one day at a time mentality goes back to AA and those 12-step programs. I've talked about this in previous videos, so if you want, you can go back and watch that. But I don't like this one day at a time thing. It assumes that if you screw up one day, you have to go back to zero. It's like Wheel of Fortune and you spin the wheel and you hit bankrupt and you lose all your money. That's not how recovery is at all. Recovery is more like a stock market. You have some good days and then you have some bad days, and it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and it goes down. Like I said, you need to fall down and get back up again. And the sooner you do that, the better. And also, please do not count the days. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 68, day 124, day 415, day 1000. It gets really old after a while. You shouldn't be counting because it's this all or nothing mentality. What happens when you go 82 days without an episode and then you have an episode? That doesn't mean you go back to day 0. It means you go to day 83 and you make day 83 more like day 27. Okay, that sounds a little bit confusing. My point is, it's not all or nothing and you don't go back to 0. So quit counting the days because you're expecting to be perfect. You're expecting to be perfect after this point. And if you have one slip up and you're not perfect, then you go back and everything is erased. Recovery is a messy process sometimes. You're not imperfect one day and then perfect the next. It is a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it doesn't take years to recover either. I think most people can start to see changes in weeks, even just a few months. But if you're in year 5 of recovery, you might want to consider another approach. This channel would not be possible without Essetino artists. If you want to start your own YouTube channel and start producing content, then check out the Creative Business Academy. There is a link below. Number 6, those urges, those cravings, that wanting, that desire, it didn't disappear in one day. You can't snap your fingers and make those urges and make those cravings just disappear. Again, our brains don't work like that. If you craved it yesterday, you're probably going to crave it today. That doesn't mean you have to cave in. That doesn't mean you have to do it. You can make different choices whenever you want. You can make changes whenever you want. You can recover whenever you want. That's another key component too. You can recover whenever you want. You're in your own little prison and it's like you don't want to escape. You know you need to escape at some point, but you're really comfortable where you are. It's a known quantity. Instead of escaping, you stay in a familiar place. Even though you have urges and cravings, doesn't mean you have to do it. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. Remember, you don't have a disease. You don't have a compulsion disorder. You don't even have a mental illness. You're putting way too much emphasis on that immediate reward and not enough emphasis on what it is that you really want. And finally, number 7, circumstances would make everything easier. Circumstances won't make anything easier. It's easy to believe that. It's easy to believe that sunshine and rainbows and a nice beach view and a nice home and a good job and a great spouse will change all of that. The truth is, you could have the perfect life and you could still have an ED or any sort of addiction. Your circumstances are irrelevant. Wherever you are now is the perfect place and the perfect time to recover. Quit waiting for external circumstances to change before you start making changes. I know I sound like a motivational speaker and this is kind of coachy. Yeah, it is kind of coachy, but wherever you are the solution. Before your external circumstances change, why don't you change first? Quit waiting for something to happen to you and make it happen yourself. Okay, here's your bonus. I thought I could reintroduce all of my fear foods and all my binge foods right away. No, I couldn't. You need a little bit of time without those before you can reintroduce them. You need to have what I call a ceasefire. You shouldn't reintroduce these right away. You shouldn't keep your pantries and refrigerator empty all the time. That's giving your brain a signal of scarcity. So the next time you find food, you are more likely to eat a lot of it because you have trained your brain for scarcity. Now on the other side is going full food freedom right away. No, you should not do that. You should not pack your pantry and pack your cabinets with all of these really palatable, highly processed foods. If you've been binging on donuts and chips and M&Ms, you should probably go a few weeks without them. That's okay, you can reintroduce them later. But I made this mistake so many times that I could just snap my fingers, change everything, and I could have all this food in my kitchen, even though I hadn't had anything in my kitchen for months. It never worked out. It only led to another episode. I ended up wasting a lot of food and a lot of money, and I had to restart the process. Another problem with ED recovery is eating those fear foods too soon. There's a time and place when you should have those, and you should reintroduce those at some point, but not immediately. So take a look here. I've got Fritos, I've got some peanut butter, and I've got some M&Ms. Oh man, these were some of my worst fear foods, especially this one. This is, let's see, 2 pounds and 8 ounces. This is like Costco size of peanut butter. I could sit there and just like this all the time. M&Ms, same thing. I would get the large bag because I would eat so many of them. And then these These are just so salty. I would eat these a lot of times with guacamole or something, and I would just sit there and like eat the whole tub, and I felt terrible afterwards. You need to find a balance. You need to keep some food in your home, but not all the stuff that you have habitually been binging on. What are some other misconceptions about recovery? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my free resources below. If you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the other videos that you see on the screen. Click one of them and I'll see you there.